8 ways to tease a woman so she can't resist you psychology tricks. Desire is not created by asking for permission. It's created by presence, polarity, and mystery. Most men don't realize this, but they don't lose attraction because they're rude or careless. They lose it because they play it too safe. You've probably lived this scene before. The date goes smoothly, the conversation flows, she smiles, even laughs. You're polite, attentive, respectful, and yet nothing happens. No spark, no pull, just a friendly hug and a message that fades into silence. That's not fate, and it's not that she wasn't ready. It's because attraction was never invited into the room. Women don't feel drawn in when a man seeks approval. They feel drawn in when he brings emotional tension without crossing lines, when he's grounded enough to challenge lightly, tease intelligently, and stay relaxed in his own frame. Real teasing isn't sarcasm or childish jokes. It's contrast. It's confidence wrapped in calm. It's letting her feel both comfortable and curious at the same time. A man who teases well doesn't try to impress. He doesn't chase reactions. He leads the interaction quietly, playfully, and with intention. That's when a woman feels seen, not pedestalized. That's when her guard lowers because she senses strength without pressure. In this video, I'll walk you through 8 mature Stoic ways to tease a woman so attraction grows naturally. No insults, no manipulation, no gimmicks, just timing, restraint, and masculine presence. This isn't about entertaining her. It's about awakening something she already feels but hasn't yet named. Stay with me. Let's begin. Number 1, the tease that makes her lean in. Number 1 is the tease that makes her lean in, and this is where most men misunderstand the entire game, because they think teasing is about clever lines or nonstop talking, when in reality it is about emotional control, timing, and presence, the kind that feels calm and intentional rather than loud or performative. This tease is never sarcasm, never mockery, never cheap humor used to hide insecurity. Don't confuse sharpness with pressure. Be warm, but not eager. Be attentive, but not chasing. That is the balance that creates pull. The tease that works whispers, it does not shout. It quietly communicates, I see you clearly, and I am comfortable right here. And that contrast, seeing her without reaching for her, is what draws her forward. In real life, this looks ordinary on the surface, but feels powerful underneath. Picture Mark, 55, living in Seattle, recently divorced, reflective, steady, not trying to reinvent himself, just grounded. He meets Julia, 51, confident, stylish, emotionally perceptive, the kind of woman who notices energy before words. On their first date, Mark does not flood her with compliments or validation. He listens. He observes. When Julia mentions she is always early because she hates waiting, Mark smiles and says, You don't look like someone who likes to wait. You look like someone who expects the room to adjust. He says it lightly, warmly, and then he stops. Don't rush past that. That pause is not awkward. That pause is intentional. Julia laughs, then leans in slightly because the comment felt accurate, playful, and respectful, and because the silence gave her space to step toward him emotionally. Most men miss this moment because they panic in silence. They think attraction grows from adding more words, more stories, more effort, when the truth is that attraction often grows in the quiet. The real tease uses fewer words and better timing. You say something true with a gentle edge, then you let it land. You don't explain it. You don't soften it. You don't rush to the next point. That space is where curiosity forms, and curiosity is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks when it comes to connection. When you keep talking, you remove the mystery. When you fill every gap, you flatten the tension. The Stoics understood this long before modern dating advice tried to label it, because they knew restraint signals strength. When you restrain the urge to impress, you communicate self-trust. Confidence is not a performance. It is a state. A woman feels it in how you pace your words, in your comfort with silence, in your ease with letting a moment breathe. This is female psychology at work, responding not to what you say, but to how settled you are inside yourself. Later in the date, Julia asks what Mark is looking for, a question many men answer by outlining expectations, timelines, and intentions, hoping clarity will secure interest. Mark doesn't do that. He smiles and says, "I'm curious where tonight goes," then gently changes the subject. Don't overcommit too early. Don't audition for a role she hasn't offered. Be present. That answer creates a flicker of uncertainty, not anxiety, but intrigue. Julia feels it. Her posture shifts. Her attention sharpens. She wants to know more because she has not been handed the ending. That is the lean. Teasing that works always respects her dignity while softly challenging her self-image. You are not trying to win approval. You are inviting play, a light call-out, a calm smile, a relaxed pause. That combination keeps her engaged without pressure, without confusion, without making her feel evaluated. This approach also reveals boundaries, and boundaries are deeply attractive because they signal emotional stability. When you are not dependent on her reaction, she can relax. When she relaxes, desire has space to emerge naturally. This is how to fall in love without forcing it, without chasing outcomes, without losing yourself in the process. It is not manipulation. It is presence paired with intention. You must understand that attraction does not grow from effort alone, but from emotional discipline. Many men believe connection is built by doing more, saying more, proving more, but often the opposite is true. Attraction grows through subtraction. Remove the neediness, remove the rush, remove the urge to control the moment. What remains is clarity, and clarity feels safe, steady, and compelling. Use psychology tricks not as tactics, but as understanding. Study female psychology not to influence behavior, but to communicate with awareness. Learn how to fall in love by allowing moments to unfold instead of steering them too tightly. Say what is true. Pause. Let her respond. Let silence do its quiet work. Repeat this mindset, and you will notice women leaning in more often, not because you pulled them, but because you finally gave them room to come closer. Number 2, the calm confidence that drives her crazy. Number 2 is the calm confidence that drives her crazy. And you must understand this deeply because calm confidence is often mistaken for indifference or passivity, when in truth, it is one of the clearest signals of a high-value man. Calm confidence is not loud confidence. Don't confuse volume with certainty. It is not flashy stories, exaggerated wins, or subtle bragging disguised as humor. It is not trying to prove you are the man. That is performance. And performance always leaks need. Calm confidence is the opposite. It is the quiet certainty that you are comfortable with yourself, whether she approves or not, whether the moment goes your way or not, whether she stays interested or not. Be steady, be grounded. That is where real attraction begins. A man who is calm inside does not rush to impress outside, and that alone sets him apart in a world full of noise. Confidence is not something you announce. It is something she feels when she is around you. It shows up in your pacing, in how you don't rush your words, in how you don't interrupt silence just to fill space. It shows in your tone, relaxed but intentional, never apologetic, never strained. Nervous confidence seeks validation. It checks her face for approval. It adjusts itself to please. Calm confidence expects nothing. It allows moments to unfold without forcing direction. Don't push the conversation. Don't chase reactions. Be present. That presence creates masculine energy that feels solid rather than tense, and women respond to that instinctively because it feels real. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man should be content with himself and not depend on external praise, and this idea is more relevant now than ever. When you internalize it, your energy changes before your behavior does. You stop performing and start inhabiting yourself. You allow eye contact to linger without trying to dominate the moment. You allow silence without feeling exposed. You don't rush to explain who you are. You let her experience you. A settled man feels safe and exciting at the same time, and that combination is rare. Safety lowers her guard. Excitement keeps her curiosity alive. This is how a high-value man attracts women without effort, because he is not trying to extract something from the interaction. He is simply there. Calm confidence also reveals itself through boundaries, and this is where many men fail quietly. Don't agree with everything just to be liked. Don't soften your preferences to avoid friction. Be clear, be kind, be firm. Say what you want plainly and let it land. That is not confrontation. That is honesty without tension. When you speak your truth calmly, without apology or pressure, it communicates self-respect. Strength without strain is deeply attractive. She may not agree with you on everything, but she will feel the solidity behind your words, and that solidity amplifies masculine energy in a way no technique ever could. Epictetus taught that freedom begins with control over your own reactions, and this principle sits at the core of calm confidence. When you stay centered, when you don't overreact to her moods, her tests, or her uncertainty, something subtle happens. She begins to orbit, not because you pulled her, not because you chased her, but because your emotional gravity is stable. You are not easily thrown off balance. You don't rush to fix. You don't rush to explain. You don't rush to please. You respond instead of react. That is attractive on a level deeper than logic. Many men believe they need to add more to attract women, more charm, more stories, more effort, but calm confidence teaches the opposite lesson. Subtract the need to impress. Subtract the fear of silence. Subtract the urge to control outcomes. What remains is clarity. That clarity signals that you are a man who trusts himself. And trust is contagious. When a woman feels that you trust yourself, she relaxes into the interaction. Relaxation opens the door to desire. Don't confuse calm confidence with emotional distance. You can be warm, engaged, and attentive while still being grounded. You listen fully. You respond thoughtfully. You enjoy the moment without clinging to it. That balance is what defines a high-value man in real life, not in theory. It is also how you naturally attract women who are drawn to stability rather than chaos. Masculine energy is not about force. It is about presence. It is about being rooted while remaining open. You must understand this clearly. Calm confidence cannot be faked for long. It is built through self-acceptance, emotional discipline, and comfort with uncertainty. But once it is there, it speaks louder than any line ever could. When you embody it, you stop chasing interest and start inviting it. You attract women not by proving your worth, but by living as if you already know it. And that knowing, quiet, and unshaken is what drives her crazy in the best possible way. If this hit home, don't just nod and move on, lock it in. Drop this comment right now. I don't perform, I stay centered. Like this video, subscribe for more calm, unshakable insight, and remind yourself every day, real confidence isn't loud, it's steady, and that steadiness is what pulls her closer. Number 3, the playful challenge she secretly loves. Here is the truth seasoned men learn through experience, not theory. A playful challenge is not about arguing, proving, or posturing. It is about presence, timing, and quiet confidence. Once you understand this, attraction stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling predictable. A playful challenge is light, controlled, and deliberate. When you are grounded, you never need to push. That calm pressure creates curiosity, polarity, and desire. Take Kevin, 54, meeting Amanda, 49. When Amanda announced she was competitive, Kevin didn't react. He smiled and calmly said, "That sounds like what someone says right before they lose." Then he stopped talking. Silence did the work. Silence, when backed by certainty, is power. Amanda laughed and leaned forward. The dynamic shifted instantly. Not because Kevin tried to impress her, but because he challenged the frame without touching her worth. That distinction separates men who chase from men who lead. Later, Amanda teased him for being too calm. Kevin didn't explain himself. He didn't defend. He simply said, "Careful. Calm usually means I'm choosing my battles." Then he changed the subject. That moment mattered. It showed emotional control, direction, and self-command. These are principles rooted deeply in Old Stoic wisdom. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Strength is felt before it is understood. A playful challenge works because it signals that you are not reactive. You are not needy. You are not pulled off center by words or opinions. Stoicism win is not about withdrawal or coldness. It is about steadiness. When you are anchored, Play can exist without chaos. Tension can exist without conflict. When she starts teasing back, attraction is already building. In modern life, attention is fragmented and validation is cheap. The man who stays composed stands out immediately. He doesn't rush to respond. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't seek agreement. He lets curiosity build. Curiosity is the engine of attraction. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Decide who you are first. Calm, grounded, self-directed, then let your words carry weight. A playful challenge is not sarcasm, not mockery, not pressure. It is timing plus restraint. It is knowing when to smile, when to pause, and when to redirect. That skill signals an iron mind without ever announcing it. Men between 35 and 70 often believe attraction requires effort, clever lines, or constant energy. The opposite is true. Attraction responds to certainty, rhythm, and emotional economy. Challenge lightly. Move on cleanly. You show abundance of focus, not hunger for attention. This is Stoicism win in action. Your inner state leads. Your behavior follows. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom here means freedom from needing outcomes, freedom from chasing reactions, freedom from proving yourself. That freedom is felt instantly by others. In a world full of noise, the man who pauses commands the room. The man who smiles without rushing controls the tempo. The man who challenges without attachment becomes unforgettable. Carry this into daily life, at work, in conversation, in relationships. Calm creates authority. Restraint creates intrigue. Direction creates trust. This is old Stoic wisdom applied to modern life. You stop performing and start leading. Repeat this until it settles into muscle memory. I do not rush. I do not react. I do not chase. I choose. I pause. I lead. That is iron mind discipline. It sharpens with age, not youth. Use playful challenges sparingly. Deliver them with warmth. Exit with confidence. Mastery is not doing more. It is doing less with precision. When you live this way, attraction becomes a byproduct of who you are. And that is how Stoicism win becomes a lived reality, not a theory. Number 4, the silence that makes her want you more. Number 4 is the silence that makes her want you more. This is where most men misunderstand everything. Silence is not absence. It is presence with intention. It is calm energy that says you are comfortable in your own skin. When you stop talking just to steer her reaction or fill the air, something powerful happens. The pressure drains out of the moment. The nervous noise fades. In that quiet space, her imagination finally wakes up. Desire does not grow in chaos. It grows in space. When there is no space, attraction has nothing to hold on to. Don't rush to explain yourself. Don't overqualify. Don't chase a response. Be still. Be grounded. Be there. Silence done right is not cold or distant. It is warm and steady. Your eye contact stays relaxed. Your posture stays open. Your breathing slows. That calm becomes contagious. Here is the psychology trick most men miss. When you remove tension created by trying to impress, you create a deeper tension rooted in curiosity. Curiosity is the doorway to emotional investment. This is basic female psychology. It is not manipulation. It is not games. It is understanding how the human mind responds to uncertainty paired with safety. When you allow a moment to unfold without controlling it, her mind starts filling in the gaps. She wonders what you are thinking, how you feel, what you might do next. That wondering is the seed of connection. That is how to fall in love at its earliest stage, quietly, subtly, without force. Long before modern dating advice existed, Epictetus reminded us that strength grows from restraint, not from excess. Restraint here means knowing when to speak and when to let silence speak for you. Silence communicates boundaries. It signals self-respect. It shows you value your words enough not to waste them. Value is felt, not announced. Marcus Aurelius echoed this when he wrote about allowing things to unfold according to nature, not rushing the process, not grasping, not interfering. When you trust the moment, others feel safe trusting you. That safety is attractive. especially to a woman who is constantly reading emotional signals. Silence amplifies your internal state. If you are anxious, silence will expose it. If you are calm, silence will magnify that calm and turn it into quiet confidence. You must first settle yourself. Don't perform silence. Embody it. Be relaxed in your body. Be present in your eyes. Be genuine in your attention. Intentional silence is not about ignoring her. It is about giving her room to step forward emotionally. When she does, it feels like her choice, not your push. That is where desire becomes real. This is one of those psychology tricks that feels almost invisible when done right, yet it reshapes the entire interaction. Instead of trying to pull attraction towards you, you create a space that invites it to move naturally. When you speak again, your words land with more weight, more clarity, more meaning. Silence sharpens sound, just as stillness sharpens presence. Don't be afraid of pauses. Don't fear the quiet moments. Let them breathe. Let them stretch. Let them work for you. In those moments, her emotions begin to organize themselves around you. That is pure female psychology at work. Not because you said the perfect line, but because you allowed her to feel something without interference. Remember this, silence that works is never empty. It is full of intention, full of awareness, full of self-trust. When you master that, you are no longer chasing attraction. You are allowing it. That is often how to fall in love begins for both of you, slowly, naturally, with a depth that words alone could never create. Be patient, be steady, be comfortable with not filling every second. The man who can hold silence can hold emotion. The man who can hold emotion becomes unforgettable. That is why this principle remains one of the most effective psychology tricks, why it aligns so closely with female psychology, and why it quietly supports how to fall in love without pressure, without force, and without ever needing to say too much. If this insight clicked for you, don't just watch and move on. Act on it. Like the video, subscribe for more psychology tricks, and leave a comment to lock this lesson in. Comment this sentence below to remember it and live it. Be fully present, then fully gone. Contrast creates attraction. Number 5, the attention shift that hooks her emotions. Number 5 is the attention shift that hooks her emotions. And if you understand this, you stop chasing and start choosing. Constant attention feels flat and predictable, while scarce attention feels distant and uninviting. But the man who masters the middle creates intrigue, momentum, and emotional pull. Look at Paul, 57, calm, grounded, and busy with a full life. He gives Diane his full attention on a date, listens without distraction, speaks with purpose, then leaves early because he values his morning and his responsibilities. That contrast is the spark, because attraction is born in the space between connection and independence. This truth is echoed by Old Stoic wisdom, which teaches that value is created by intention, not excess. As Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Wasted attention drains desire, while deliberate attention multiplies it. When you are present, be fully present. Eyes steady, voice calm, energy focused, no phone, no wandering thoughts, no need to impress. Presence is power, and when you leave cleanly, without apology or over-explaining, returning to your mission, your work, your health, your life, because a man who has direction is magnetic. This is not a trick. It is alignment. It is respect for your time and hers. It is the iron mind that understands desire grows in rhythm, not noise. Modern life is loud. Notifications never stop. Attention is cheap and scattered, and that is exactly why the man who controls his attention stands out instantly. While others flood her with messages, reactions, and constant availability, you show up strong, then step back, creating contrast that lingers in her thoughts long after the date ends. That is why Diane thinks about Paul later, not because he chased, but because he didn't. As Mark Twain said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started, and the secret of attraction is knowing when to stop, when to pause, when to let silence do the work. Stoicism Win is about mastery of self first, mastery of emotion second, mastery of outcomes last. When you apply Old Stoic wisdom to modern relationships, you stop operating from need and start operating from choice, which women feel immediately, because emotion responds to strength, clarity, and calm consistency. This attention shift is simple but demanding because it requires discipline, and discipline is rare, which is why it works. When you text with purpose. When you call with intent. When you meet fully. And when you leave without dragging the moment, letting her feel the absence just enough to want more, not from anxiety, but from curiosity and appreciation. As Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. What you have to do is live a full life that does not orbit anyone else. Iron mind thinking means you don't linger for validation. You don't hover for reassurance. You don't over-explain your value. You demonstrate it through action, rhythm, and restraint. This creates a sense of victory not only in attraction, but in life, because the same principle applies to work, leadership, and purpose, where focused effort followed by strategic withdrawal builds respect and momentum. Stoicism win is not about being distant, it is about being deliberate, not about withholding, but about timing, not about games, but about standards. When you adopt this mindset, your presence becomes an event, your absence becomes felt, and your life becomes centered, because Old Stoic wisdom reminds us that the man who governs himself governs outcomes. The man who controls his attention controls his energy. And the man who controls his energy creates desire naturally, without pressure, without chasing, without confusion. That is the path of the iron mind, steady, grounded, effective, in relationships and beyond. Number 6, the slow tension that opens her desire. This is where patience stops being passive and starts becoming powerful. Slow tension is not hesitation. It is not uncertainty. It is intention stretched over time. Desire does not grow from rushing toward an outcome. Desire grows in anticipation. It grows in the space between now and later. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that nature unfolds in its own time, not on our schedule, and attraction works the same way. When you rush, you collapse the mystery. When you slow down, you let curiosity breathe. Don't chase the moment. Let the moment come to you. Be comfortable with waiting. That is where tension begins to form. Slow tension shows up in subtle, controlled ways, in eye contact that lingers just a second longer than expected, in silence that feels relaxed, not awkward, in conversations that pause before the conclusion, leaving something unsaid. Don't try to finish every emotional sentence. Don't rush to define the connection. Be present, then leave space. That unfinished quality keeps her mind engaged long after you are gone. Restraint proves control. Control feels safe, and safety paired with tension is magnetic. This is not about confusing her. It is about allowing her emotions to move at their own pace, which is essential if you want to attract women without pressure or force. A high-value man understands this instinctively. He does not hurry to be chosen. He moves as if time is on his side. His masculine energy is calm, grounded, and patient. He knows that desire rises when it is invited, not demanded. When you slow down your movements, your speech, and your reactions, you signal confidence without saying a word. Don't over-explain. Don't over-invest too soon. Be steady. Be measured. That is how attraction deepens, rather than burns out quickly. This is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks because it feels counterintuitive in a world that rewards speed. Epictetus taught that governing desire creates freedom. When you are not ruled by urgency, you become more attractive. When you are not in a hurry, she leans in. That leaning in is emotional before it is physical. It starts with curiosity. It grows with comfort. It matures with time. Slow tension allows desire to rise naturally, without being pushed or pulled. You must trust that if the connection is real, it does not need to be rushed. Trust is attractive. Patience is attractive. Self-control is attractive. These are the quiet signals of a high-value man who understands how to attract women through presence rather than pursuit. Think about how anticipation works in every area of life. A great meal is more satisfying when you smell it cooking. A journey feels richer when it is not rushed. Attraction follows the same pattern. If you move too fast, you skip the buildup. If you slow down, every interaction gains weight. Every look carries meaning. Every pause adds depth. That is masculine energy at its most refined. Not loud, not forced. Simply steady and intentional. Don't confuse speed with confidence. Be deliberate instead. That is where tension lives. Slow tension also means knowing when to step back. Leaving a moment unfinished is not withdrawal. It is trust. Trust that she will continue the story in her own mind. When you leave calmly, without clinging, you allow her emotions to fill the silence. That silence works for you. It creates space for longing. This is one of the most effective psychology tricks because it respects her autonomy while quietly inviting her interest. It aligns perfectly with female psychology, which responds deeply to emotional rhythm rather than constant stimulation. You must also understand that slow tension requires inner discipline. If you are restless inside, slowing down will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is the work. Breathe through it. Ground yourself. Be at ease with not knowing exactly where things are going. The man who can tolerate uncertainty without rushing to resolve it radiates confidence. That confidence is felt immediately. It signals that you are secure in yourself, which is a core trait of a high-value man. This is how masculine energy expresses itself in modern dating, through calm control, emotional steadiness, and intentional pacing. Don't mistake this for distance or indifference. Slow tension is warm. It is engaged. It is attentive. You are fully present when you are there and fully at ease when you are not. That balance keeps attraction alive. That balance helps you attract women who are emotionally invested rather than briefly intrigued. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You stop trying to create desire and start allowing it. In the end, slow tension is about trust. Trust in timing, trust in connection, trust in yourself. When you move with patience, you invite her to meet you emotionally instead of chasing her physically. That is real attraction. That is sustainable attraction. That is masculine energy working quietly but effectively. Remember this: don't rush the spark. Protect the buildup. Be intentional with your pace. That is how desire opens, deepens, and stays alive. Number 7, the masculine tease that feels dangerous but safe. Number 7 is the masculine tease that feels dangerous but safe, and this is where many men finally understand that attraction is not built by chasing or proving, but by presence, restraint, and quiet certainty. The most compelling tension is not loud or chaotic. It is controlled, intentional, and grounded in self-respect. You must understand this clearly if you want teasing to feel magnetic rather than confusing. Because teasing done right is not about saying clever lines or pushing buttons. It is about who you are while you say nothing at all. That is why a man like Thomas 58 stands out without effort. When he is tested, he does not rush to explain. He does not argue. He does not seek approval. He pauses, he breathes, he stays calm, and that calm is not passive. It is active restraint. It is strength choosing stillness. That choice sends a signal deeply understood in female psychology, even if it is rarely spoken out loud. A woman is not only listening to your words, she is watching how you regulate yourself under pressure, how you respond when the frame wobbles, how you behave when things could slide into drama but do not. That is where safety is born. Not the dull safety of predictability that drains desire, but the living safety of boundaries, consistency, and inner control. Remember this rule: predictability kills desire, but chaos destroys trust. The sweet spot is tension held inside structure. Masculine teasing lives exactly there. It communicates standards without lectures, independence without distance, warmth without neediness. That combination is rare, especially as people age, which is why it becomes even more powerful for men between 35 and 70. By then, life has taught you that reacting fast feels strong, but reacting wisely feels unshakable. That unshakable quality is the tease. It is the feeling that something solid is present, something that does not bend easily, something that invites curiosity instead of demanding attention. When Thomas responds with a warm tone and steady presence, he is not being cold or distant. He is being selective. Selectiveness is attractive because it implies choice. It implies that you are not driven by impulse. This is one of the most overlooked psychology tricks in attraction. The mind reads restraint as value, and value creates interest. Interest opens the door to how to fall in love without force or performance. Be disciplined here. Do not overplay it. Do not become silent as punishment. Do not withdraw to create fear. That breaks trust. Teasing that feels dangerous but safe works only when the danger is symbolic, not emotional. It is the sense that you are not fully predictable, not instantly accessible, not easily shaken, while still being emotionally present and grounded. This is where Stoic self-mastery quietly enters the room, not as quotes or rigid behavior, but as lived practice. The practice of feeling tension without spilling it, of holding desire without rushing to consume it, of allowing silence to do the work instead of filling every gap with explanation. When you do this, you create space. Space is where attraction breathes. Space allows imagination, and imagination is far more powerful than logic in female psychology. Desire grows not from what is given, but from what is suggested. Masculine teasing suggests rather than proves. It hints rather than declares. It says, I know who I am, without saying it out loud. Boundaries matter deeply here. Boundaries are not walls, they are signals. They say, this is where I stand. Standing firm is far more enticing than leaning in too hard. Be clear with yourself first. Be calm when tested. Be warm without being eager. Be playful without being chaotic. Be present without being predictable. Do not confuse consistency with boredom. Consistency in values, combined with flexibility in expression, creates depth. Depth keeps attraction alive over time, especially in long conversations, shared glances, and quiet moments where nothing dramatic happens, but everything is felt. Many men fail here because they think teasing must be verbal, clever, or risky in words. In reality, the most effective tease often happens in tone, timing, and the choice not to react. A slight smile that says, I see what you are doing, can carry more tension than 100 lines. It respects intelligence. It respects emotional awareness. It signals that you are not here to win a game. You are here to enjoy the interaction on your terms. Terms are essential. Without them, attraction collapses into negotiation, and negotiation drains polarity. Polarity is the quiet engine behind how to fall in love naturally, not through pressure, not through performance, through contrast. Contrast between calm and spark, between strength and warmth, between independence and connection. That contrast is exactly what masculine teasing provides when done with restraint. It does not overwhelm, it invites, it does not push, it pulls subtly. Subtlety is often mistaken for weakness, but it is not. It is refinement. It is control. It is knowing when not to move. That knowing is felt instantly, even if it cannot be explained. The nervous system recognizes safety paired with excitement as rare and valuable. That recognition bypasses logic. That is why psychology tricks work best when they are embodied, not performed. When you embody this tease, you stop trying to get a reaction. You allow one to happen. Allowing removes desperation from the equation. Desperation kills desire. Do not chase reactions. Do not seek reassurance. Do not rush to clarify every misunderstanding. Sometimes let the moment stand. Let the tension linger. Let the connection stretch. Stretching without breaking builds resilience. Resilience is deeply attractive, especially to women who value stability without stagnation. This is where male maturity becomes an advantage. With age comes the chance to master yourself. Self-mastery is felt as confidence without noise, presence without pressure, and teasing without harm. This aligns naturally with female psychology. It respects emotional intelligence on both sides. It does not rely on manipulation. It does not rely on psychology tricks alone, even though psychology tricks help frame understanding. It relies on authenticity shaped by discipline. Discipline is freedom in disguise. Freedom from reacting, freedom from proving, freedom from needing to be chosen. When you stand in that freedom, attraction has room to grow. Curiosity has room to play. Connection has room to deepen. That is how to fall in love in a way that feels calm, earned, and real. Not rushed, not forced, not fueled by insecurity. Remember this: teasing is not about making her uncertain about you. It is about making her intrigued by you while feeling safe in your presence. Safety does not mean dullness. It means reliability of character. Reliability of character combined with unpredictability of expression is where desire thrives. Be reliable in your values. Be unpredictable in your responses. Be steady in your tone. Be playful in your timing. Always stay rooted in self-respect. That respect is contagious. When she feels it, she relaxes. When she relaxes, attraction deepens. When attraction deepens without pressure, love has space to emerge naturally. That is the quiet power behind this masculine tease: strength held back, tension contained, warmth offered without pursuit. Practice this consistently, not as a tactic, but as a way of being. You will notice something subtle but profound. Conversations feel lighter, reactions feel stronger, connection feels effortless. You are no longer trying to create desire. You are allowing it, guided by female psychology, grounded psychology tricks, and a calm confidence that understands how to fall in love without ever needing to say it out loud. Number 8, the emotional push that pulls her closer. Number 8 is the emotional push that pulls her closer. And this is where many men misunderstand attraction, because the emotional push is not rejection, not distance, and not indifference. That is the first thing you must get right. The emotional push is a pause, a deliberate pause, a moment where you stop leaning in so she has space to step forward. Contrast creates movement. Movement creates desire. Without contrast, everything stays flat. Without space, nothing moves. Don't confuse emotional control with emotional coldness. Be steady, not absent. That is the difference. When you understand this, you begin to operate like a high-value man, not because you say so, but because your behavior quietly proves it. Many men think attraction grows when they give more, explain more, reassure more. That feels logical. It feels polite. But attraction is not built on logic alone. Attraction responds to rhythm, push and pull, near and far, warmth followed by stillness. The emotional push shows up right after connection, not before it. That timing matters. You connect, you share, you laugh, you create comfort, then you pause. You don't disappear, you don't shut down. You simply stop chasing the moment. That pause invites her nervous system to move. When you stop clinging, she steps forward. That is not manipulation. That is human psychology responding to space. This is how men who naturally attract women operate without thinking about it. They allow room for desire to travel back toward them. Marcus Aurelius taught not to depend on others' moods, and that lesson is quietly powerful here. When your emotional state rises and falls based on her reactions, you give away your center. Don't do that. Be grounded. Be self-contained. Be calm whether she leans in or leans back. That inner steadiness communicates masculine energy in its cleanest form. Not forceful, not loud, just stable. Stability invites curiosity. Curiosity invites movement. Movement invites desire. You must stop outsourcing your emotional balance. When you do, you stop gripping the interaction, and that release creates pull. Here is where many men get it wrong. They apply the emotional push too early. Don't do that. Pushing before connection feels confusing. It feels random. The push only works after warmth has been established, after laughter, after eye contact, after shared emotion. Think of it like music. You don't pause before the melody begins. You pause after the note lands. That pause makes the note echo. The emotional push works the same way. It lets what you've already created settle and resonate. That resonance is what pulls her closer. Be aware of your tone. Be aware of your timing. The emotional push often looks simple from the outside. You reply a little slower. You don't rush to fill silence. You don't immediately validate every emotion. You stay relaxed. You stay warm. You stay centered. Don't explain the pause. Don't justify it. That ruins it. Let it exist naturally. That quiet confidence is part of being a high-value man because it shows you are not afraid of space. Men who fear space chase. Men who understand space attract. Contrast is doing the heavy lifting here. Warmth followed by restraint. Engagement followed by stillness. Presence followed by patience. Contrast creates movement. Movement creates desire. When everything is available all the time, nothing feels special. When energy has rhythm, attention sharpens. This is why men who master emotional pacing tend to attract women more easily, even without perfect words or looks. They understand when to lean in and when to stay still. Do not overthink this. The emotional push is not a tactic you deploy with tension in your body. If you feel anxious while doing it, she will feel it too. Be calm first, then pause. That calmness is the foundation of masculine energy. It signals self-trust. It signals emotional maturity. It signals that you are comfortable with uncertainty. Comfort with uncertainty is deeply attractive, especially to women who are emotionally aware. Another mistake men make is using the emotional push as a test. Don't do that. This is not about checking if she likes you enough. That mindset turns the pause into pressure. Instead, view the push as respect for the moment. You are allowing her emotional experience to develop without interference. That is generous. That is confident. That is grounded. You must trust the connection you already built. If it is real, the pause strengthens it. If it fades, it wasn't anchored yet. Either way, you keep your center. Notice how this shifts your role. You stop performing. You stop monitoring. You stop reacting to every signal. You become present without being attached to outcome. That presence is what separates men who chase attraction from men who naturally generate it. This is why the emotional push aligns so well with the identity of a high-value man. His value is not announced. It is felt through consistency, restraint, and emotional self-command. Remember, the emotional push is subtle. It is not dramatic distance. It is not silence used as leverage. It is simply not overreaching. Be warm. Be grounded. Be patient. Let her move. When she does, the connection feels earned, not forced. That feeling is powerful. It builds trust and desire at the same time. If you want to truly attract women, you must learn this balance. Lean in enough to create connection. Step back enough to let desire breathe. Stay centered the entire time. That balance expresses masculine energy without saying a word. And when a woman feels both safety and space with you, she doesn't pull away. She moves closer, on her own terms, which is exactly what makes the pull so strong. Hey, my friend, thanks for staying with me to the end. Here's the truth, plain and simple. This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about emotional leadership. When you're calm, grounded, and not chasing reactions, you naturally stand out. Women don't connect deeply with emotional chaos, and they don't stay excited by emotional sameness either. They respond to a man who is steady but not static, someone who knows who he is and doesn't need approval to feel whole. That's where Stoicism hits hard. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a man shouldn't be controlled by the moods or reactions of others. When you stop needing her response to validate you, you stop clinging. And the moment you stop clinging, you create space. In that space, attraction grows. Often the emotional pull comes after connection, not before. So take this advice seriously. Focus on your inner stability. Lead the emotional rhythm without forcing it. Be present, confident, and relaxed in yourself. When you do that, you don't have to chase desire. It naturally steps toward you. Stay strong, stay centered, and I'll see you in the next video.